Welcome to East Meets West, and today I have a special doctor. And I think our topic even is going to be something that is so needed right now. And so with me, I have Dr. Olabisi, and I cannot give you enough details about our doctor here today, but I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself. But just a little bit, she is a mom. She's a physician, she's a serial entrepreneur, and obviously she's a John Maxwell coach. The DNA is in her because it's about adding value. She is a certified speaker, trainer, and coach, and she's the founder of Full Hands Ventures, a communication training company, a philanthropist, and co-runs the Empowered for Greatness Foundation. Yes, where they sponsor Nigerian medical and law students. So, as I said, she is a phenomenal woman, and I can't wait to actually hear today what we're gonna learn from her. And her journey is where she inspire her audience globally to let go of fear, and that is some aspect of what we're gonna be talking about today. Breaking barriers, unleash your full potential. But just for you to get a little understanding that what is fair, how can you rise to your greatness through all what you might be facing. And we're gonna have that kind of discussion today, because we do have a lot of people not stepping into their greatness because of some aspect of fear that is holding them back. But as I said, she is the expert on this, and I am very thrilled to have her on this program, that she's here to add value to you and to me. So do send your questions and post your comments, and Dr. O for short will actually respond to you and give you some insight. So I'm going to stop talking here, and I'm going to ask Dr. O to just give us a little more, what is she doing? And, before we get into the topic today of facing your fears and rising to greatness.
Thank you so much, Shanti, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. And thank you to the listening audience. It's so great. I am privileged to be here this morning, afternoon, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. And everything you said about me is true. I'm a physician, I'm a mom, I'm a philanthropist. I've done a lot in my life. But through that journey, I've battled this thing called fear, F-E-A-R. And over time, I've learned to not just cope, but to overcome. And even though the fear has never really gone away, I've been able to rise to greatness. And I go around to different countries, to different spaces, Zoom calls virtually, talking to people and helping them to just unleash their full potential and to walk into their purpose and into their potential, not just with regards to fear, but in every area of their lives.
And many times we have like our conferences or training, you would hear comments of things that people wanted to do in life, and they never step into doing it because they fear they fail, somebody say something, or something that is holding you back. And if you can have a breakthrough and move forward, Dr. O and myself would have served our purpose today. So we're here to serve you and to help you move beyond this here now. And for me, I always tell people that I do believe that you're made for greatness. And God has put you on this earth here for a great purpose. And we're all here with a different purpose. And our job is to help you to find that and fulfill that. And to do that will definitely entail some mental work where that aspect of fear is concerned. So Dr. O, over to you. And
Yeah, you're so right. When we think about fear, fear is, and I've heard this. I heard this all my life in church, in the workspace, where fear has been defined as um, false evidence appearing real. And yeah, okay, so it's false evidence, but what do I do? What is the solution? And it may be fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of not being perfect. I'm one person who I can tell you that my big fear was fear of making mistakes because I grew up in a home with a West Indian mother at that. I have a Nigerian father, but a West Indian mother who would say, who wanted us to be perfect. She wanted us to be perfect. So I always had this fear of making mistakes, fear of trading security for the unknown, fear of what others will say or will think, sometimes being fearful about not being good enough, not perfect, fear of losing money, fear of what I call haters. Sometimes when you're successful, because I'm sure there are people on this who listen who, yeah, you're a success, but you're fearful of even advertising your success or reaching out and empowering other people because you're concerned about what people will say or what they will think or about people who are envious of your success. And I had to come to the point where I decided was I going to walk in faith or was I going to walk in fear? So which emotion is stronger? Papa Maxwell always says that whatever you focus on expands. And so I decided not to be paralyzed because I got to the place where honestly and truly fear was paralyzing me. If I had to do something new or if I had to even speak like I'm speaking today, I would spend the whole day worrying, not being able to concentrate, my heart would be racing and it would ruin my day. And I'm sure there are people who are listening who can identify. So a couple of years ago, I really believe God gave me this. I came up with this acronym called called FACE, FACE, FACE. So instead of fear, face. And the first F is focusing on my strengths. Because again, what we focus on expands. A lot of times as children or even as adults, the world tends to be negative. They'll tell you what you're not good at. Or even myself, I would look at, oh, I'm not good at math. I wasn't good at math, but I was good in biology. I was good at physics. I'm good at talking to people one-on-one. I'm good at listening. So I began to just focus on my strengths. And how do you know what your strength area is? What is it that excites you? What is it that's effortless? What is it that engages you? What is it that you do that energizes you that even if you were not being paid, you would do it? Right? And when you focus on your strength, it helps you to walk into your purpose and it helps you to fulfill your potential. And then when things happen that are kind of not going the way you want, you avoid those potholes. You're able to avoid those potholes and just go forward. And so focusing on your strengths helps to build resilience. So that's the first F.
Wonderful. It's many people say that I don't know like what's my purpose. I don't know what am I passionate about, but I think what you've just shared is that sometimes we need to stop and reflect and to go deeper to see, okay, what is it that I really enjoy doing? And what kind of impact am I making by doing this thing here? What just sort yourself, because we can go through life and reach to the end and not understand, what really was my passion or my purpose, or what was I really good at? And you never stop to really reflect that, and you've gone through life trying to work on your weaknesses instead of your strengths. But that's a good one. What is A?
Hey, I'll tell you in a minute. I love what you just said about reflection. Yes, so what energizes it, take time to reflect because it's when you reflect that you can move on to setting goals and then just digging down into yourself and figuring out what your purpose is and what your potential is. Because then when you know that, you can move forward. A is being authentic, being uniquely you. When I was growing up, so much stuff happened when I was growing up. I tell you, I grew up as a happy child, but a lot of stuff. When I look back, I'm like, oh my God, how did I even make it to where I am? Being uniquely you. When I was growing up, I didn't like my nose. I didn't think I was pretty. I thought I thought I had bow legs. I was shorter than my siblings, even though I'm the oldest. So I tried to imitate everybody else. But when you're a carbon copy, if you've seen all that, if you have like a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton bag that's original, and then you have a carbon copy, you could tell the difference, right? And inauthentic, being inauthentic has an aroma. It has a people can smell phoniness a mile off. So just be you. It actually takes less effort. It takes less energy. And when you're you, you find that people actually like the real you. I used to worry, even in my position right now, I work as a medical director at a Fortune 500 company here in the US. And I used to worry about my accent. And then after I'd done a couple of presentations, people would say, oh, Olabisi, your voice is so nice and soothing. We like how it sounds. And I'm like, what? Here I am worrying about the way I sound, and people are talking about I sound so soothing and I sound so conversational and things like that. So just be you. Figure out who you are and just be you. Because the real you is who God created you to be. And when you're you, you can stretch further. You could be whatever. Your potential is unlimited. You're taking really the lid off of yourself and you're taking the limits off. It's like when you're not authentic, it's like walking in your mother's high heels as a kid. What will happen? You'll fall. So walk in your own shoes. And that helps you, when you're authentic, it helps you to get over low self-esteem. And it produces credibility. And that credibility now multiplies. And so you're credible. If you have a business, they'll be profitable because people are attracted. It's like a magnet. When you're authentic, it's a magnet. It draws people to you. It draws good to you.
And Dr. O, I meet so many people who are not comfortable with themselves. Either they think that, they're too fat, they don't look good, they, something, maybe the hair is not what they want, so many different things. And then they try to be like some movie star or some popular person. They try to dress like them. They try to, wear those people on, I would say, instead of just be you. I find many young people to have a problem actually just being themselves. And that authentic self that you're talking about, how to love you first.
Yes.
Be okay with you.
Yes.
We are so admire other people, but yet do we actually look in the mirror and say, you know what? I am also made for greatness, just like all those people that I'm admiring, and I can do great things too, like them. I might not do it, the way they do it, but in my own sphere, in my own circle or my corner, I can be amazing.
I love
Yourself, and that is what I think sometimes we do need to maybe some self-talk every single day. That say, call your name, Dr. O or Shanti, you're made for greatness.
Yes, you're made for greatness. You're valuable. You add value to people. I gave a talk in early 2024 called Roar, and it's based on the lions. And lions are proud and they're stately. And it is said that when a lion roars, you can hear that sound 5, 10 miles away. So stop looking at yourself. And there's a picture on the internet of this cat looking in the mirror. And when the cat looks in the mirror, the cat sees a lion.
I love that picture.
That's seeing yourself. You've seen the picture? Yeah, it's awesome. Start seeing yourself as a lion. Start saying, roar. I have to tell you the story. I hope I'm not going.
I don't-
This story is beautiful. You'll love this. And this is for the audience and for the young people out there. I have a girlfriend, my best friend, went to medical school together. And she's actually the vice president of medical affairs for a huge, huge hospital group here in the United States. When she was doing her fellowship, she was going to be studied to be a gastroenterologist. She felt so intimidated because we had come from Nigeria. Yes, she had done some work here, but she had an accent. Her hair was nappy like mine. Just a lot of different things. All the things we tell ourselves. I'm fearful of just so many things. She bought a teddy bear, but it was like a lion, one that looked like a lion. And every day before she would walk into that hospital, those double doors would cut and come wide open. She would hold the teddy bear, and nobody knew what she was doing. And she would go, "Rrr, rrr, rrr," and she would roar. And I remember when she told me the story, it's still making me laugh now. We would laugh so hard. But guess what? That was her way of affirming herself. That was her way of picking herself up. So whatever it takes to pick up yourself, affirmations every day, putting something in front of your face that makes you imagine that you're a lion or the person that you are. Taking a picture of yourself looking, fly, as the young kids would say. Whatever it takes to build yourself up, do it. Do it. And when you do that, you'll find out that low self-esteem will go out the door. Your self-esteem will go up to the top of the roof, and you'll begin to walk in purpose and in potential, and you will succeed in every area of life, because our lives are really not compartmentalized. Everything we do kind of bleeds into family, finances, faith, whatever it is. Everything bleeds into every area of our life.
Definitely. And so even, for the things you say to yourself, they say what you say to yourself when you're by yourself, you'll believe it. So as you talk about, what you focus on expand, and if you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, or you're, some negative thoughts, then those are the things that you're going to see more of. Why not start being you? And I always advise people that stop comparing yourself to all these people that you're looking at, on Facebook or whatever social media platform, and you're, I don't know, obsessed about what's happening with those people's life. But how would start comparing to you, to who you were yesterday? How have you grown today? Who you were last year to where you are now. Just look back and see where you've come from and how much you've grown, and keep encouraging yourself so that you don't have to look at other people. You're going to be so disappointed if you keep comparing yourself to other people.
That is so true. That is so true. I love what you said. Look at where you were yesterday. And that's why it's good to journal. That's one of the things that I do. It's good to journal, because if you keep a journal, you could see where you were even last quarter, January, February, March of 2024 to where you are now. And then that should serve as an impetus for you to go forward, because it encourages you, because you're saying, one of the things that I was going to talk about is to even celebrate small victories. Okay, maybe my weight is 150 pounds today, and last month I was 158. So now I'm 150 or 155 or whatever it is. I celebrate that. Or even, even if I lost the 1 pound, or I've been eating ice cream every day, but now I've disciplined myself and I've cut down. I ate my fruits and vegetables. I celebrate that. So celebrate small victories. Yep. So you have to pat your own self on the back. Well done. Well done, Olabisi.
Yes, indeed. And what is C?
So C is courage. C is courage, but I'll also say confidence, because recently I was at the John Maxwell IMC, and they had Deion Sanders at the conference. And one of the things he talked about was confidence, wearing confidence like a cologne. And that comes from walking in your strengths, being authentic. It helps you to build up your confidence. And then courage, though, helps you to prepare, the courage to prepare. I didn't get where I am today by just wishing things would happen. Growth doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional. Here's that word again, intentional. You have to be intentional about growing. What is your plan to grow? What is your plan to get out of fear? One of the things that I love telling people is this. I love acronyms. Okay, so y'all forgive me today. I love acronyms. There's this acronym called WHOOP, and it's for setting goals. It's actually was created by this psychologist, and it's WHOOP, WOOP. And we're still on C. I haven't forgotten. The W stands for wish. What is your wish? The O stands for outcome. What outcome do you want? So I want to read this book, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and this month. So that's my wish. What's the outcome that I want? I'm hoping that once I read this book, I'll learn how to, I'll be able to apply it to grow and probably get a promotion on my job because of some of the skills that I've acquired. What is the obstacle to me doing that? Well, I also like watching Netflix, binging on Netflix. So what's my plan? My plan is to, okay, going forward, I'll watch Netflix, but I'll only watch Netflix on the weekend. On weekdays, I'll set aside maybe 30 minutes before I go to bed or when I wake up in the morning to read the book. So, and I'll do it consistently because consistency compounds. And when you prepare, it saves you from having to repair. So you either prepare or you repair. And it's less costly to prepare because when you prepare, you're ready. But if you're having to just repair stuff that has been broken because you didn't prepare, then it ends up being more expensive. There's a story about Nelson Mandela. Somebody had interviewed him when he came out from jail. Remember, he's the South African, he was actually South African president, and he was in prison for over 27 years. And they said, well, how did you survive in jail, Nelson Mandela? And he said, I didn't survive, I prepared. He had prepared his mindset. He had prepared himself for going, because he knew that going to jail was a possibility in that era of apartheid. So he prepared mentally, he prepared emotionally. So when this came, he was ready. And that courage, that confidence, that preparation helps you to overcome fear. And I've seen it happen in, again, I'll give you a couple of examples, but I've also seen that happen even in my own life.
Yep. So I like that. You pronounce it whoop.
Whoop, W-O-O-P. W as in winter and O-O-P. And your listening audience can Google that online. It's a tool that is used to set goals, but I actually prefer to the SMART goals because it really helps you break it down. What is my wish? What is the outcome that I want? What is the obstacle? So you're writing all these things down, and what is my plan? And when you come up with whatever plan, you break your plan down into bite sizes. Because if you want to eat an elephant, how do you eat it? One small bite at a time. So you break your goals into bite sizes. And that takes away the fear, because with me in the past, I would want to read this book and I would say, oh, I'm going to read this book in a week. I found that didn't work for me because it created anxiety, it created fear. So now what I've done is I come up with a plan, I break it down into little goals, and then I just work at it.
So I always tell people that there's this saying that, how do you eat an elephant? An elephant is a very big animal, and it's one bite at a time.
Yes.
Indeed, sometimes we have such big dreams, big things we want to achieve, and it seems scary. You know, sometimes some of the things that I do is so scary for some people. And even scares me too. And your goal should scare you to some extent, but then not to cripple you, but to get you into action. That kind of fear that, I want to achieve this and I'm going to conquer this. And, that kind of excitement with it, going with it. So I always remember Joyce Meyer said that, do it and do it afraid.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Yes, do it and do it afraid. Do it and do it afraid. And we're always going to, Joyce Meyer actually always says too that you're always going to have an element of fear. Was I a little afraid or nervous when I was coming on this podcast? Yes. even though I've spoken so many times, but I show up. I show up. I have other things that I have in the works that I'm going to be doing that I've never done before. So I love when you talk about setting big goals that even scare you. I call them God-sized goals. You still show up. You still show up. And when you get into the habit of showing up, you will always show up for the things that you need to show up to. And you will be in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right thing.
Awesome. I can't tell you, just within this past few minutes, how many things also you have brought out here that speaks and resonates with me, and I'm sure with many others who are listening to this here. So the E in face, what does
So
that?
the E in face is awesome. I love the E in face because one of the things that I've learned, and I've always added value to people, but being in the John Maxwell team, being a part of John Maxwell has really, really brought that home to me because Papa Maxwell talks about that all the time, empowering other people. And as a person of faith, I know that when I give, it makes me feel that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So empowering other people, because when you empower other people, when you add value to other people, when you help other people, even the things that we've talked about today, if there's something that resonates with you, if there's something that you've become aware of, if there's something you feel that you can apply, go tell somebody else. Even this podcast with Shanti, like it, share it, subscribe to the podcast, because in that way you're multiplying this legacy, you're multiplying the message, and it's a good message. So go out there and empower people. And I found out that today I was thinking about, this is funny, you guys, I think about stuff and sometimes it's just like, okay, what am I thinking? I was thinking this morning, as a person of faith, Jesus said, I will make you fishers of men. He didn't say, I will make you selfish. He said, I will make you fishers of men. So when you're a fisher of men, you're going out there and you're casting your net. So empower other people. Go cast your net. Stop being selfish, because be a river, as John Maxwell likes to say, not a reservoir. I think about the Dead Sea in Israel. I've been to Israel before. And the Dead Sea, what they say about the Dead Sea is that all these rivers empty into the Dead Sea, but there's no outlets, right? And so nothing lives in the Dead Sea. In fact, I got into the water and you literally float. You can't sink in the Dead Sea. It's just salt, like a very, very high concentration of salt. So don't be a Dead Sea. Don't be a Dead Sea, because we're living beings. We're supposed to give life. So go give life to somebody. Be a river. If you're a river that flows, you're giving life to people. You're helping people. And when you do that, you'll find out that, first of all, you don't even have time to be fearful because your mind is set on other things. And then you'll see all the benefits coming to you. Yeah.
That is so empowering. That, I think of so many people, that word there, it's like a foreign word right now. You interact with some organizations, you interact, sometimes I interview people, and where they're coming from, you could see they weren't empowered to make decisions, they weren't empowered to do certain things, and they left with this fear now. I could recall hiring someone, I can't tell from where they came from, but I recall bringing them on our team, and I constantly having to ask them for their advice on certain things for their own department, and when I sat with them, then to figure out that where they were before, they weren't allowed to actually give their thoughts, so it wasn't something that it will come naturally for them. And so it was constant working with them, making them feel comfortable that this environment wants to hear from you, that what you have in you can make a difference, and keep encouraging them over and over that it's okay to share. But this whole aspect of empowering too, and as you were talking about sharing, I don't find the abundance kind of mentality that is there right now. There's a lot of scarcity thinking. And if we actually start empowering our people, right, empowering others, I see it as, we're going to have a better society, right? We're going to have a bunch of people who actually can be able to function on their own. They have the knowledge, the resource, they have everything they need so that they can actually be productive on their own and they don't have to depend on you also. So empowering yourself is one, to invest in you per se, in things that you may not know, things that you may want to get even better when you talk about your strengths. Maybe some classes, some books, something that you may need to do to help you also get better, which builds your confidence too. Because you now feel that you're not winging according to John, right? You don't go wing it. You know what you're doing. And so that's where confidence come to. You practice. You put in the work so that you stand up there. That is you. You're not trying to be someone else in that whole aspect, because you've empowered yourself and you have an abundant mind that you want to empower others too. So even before we came on the call, I remember I will share with you, my aspect is if I can help somebody to live an empowered life, an impactful life, I think for me, I've served my purpose too. Right? That's what these programs are about, is just helping people, to be all they can be as they live on this earth here. And you don't end up leaving the earth and robbing us of all the greatness that was in you, and you took it with you when you're gone. But to be all you can be, just be you, right? There's no other you. I think Dr. Seuss said that. There's no other you, only you in this world. So be you. All the rest are taken. So you, yeah.
Yeah. That is so true. I really feel that faith is not all encompassing, but it's a springboard. It's a place where people can start from, because I had to do that. You have to start somewhere, and you have to start with the end in mind. So if you apply faith, and you can apply it to any area of your life, that's what so go, like you said, write down what your strengths are. So what is your purpose? What's your potential? Begin to walk in that. Be uniquely you. Be courageous, be confident, wear it like a cologne. And then, empower other people, empower people. And I really believe that if you do that, it shifts the focus from you, and it shifts the focus to the purpose for which you were created. So you begin to walk in your destiny, and it helps you to hold back onto your dream instead of letting go, because a lot of us have let go of our dreams because of all these things that cause us to be fearful, or I can't do this. But if you don't start, I heard somebody say, your fear cannot be greater than, no, he says your fear of failure cannot be greater than your what if. So if you're fearful of failure, what's going to happen in the end is that you're going to be saying, oh, what if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? What if I'd done the other? So decide that I'm not going to go to the what if lane. I'm just going to start. And you can start today. I love starting every day because it's a new beginning. Every time I wake up, I always say it's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity to start. So tomorrow is behind me, because if you look in the rearview mirror, then you're going to crash. If you have your foot on the accelerator and you're driving, you'll crash. But if you look forward to today, look forward to the beauty and to the things that God has called you into, then you'll go to the penthouse instead of being in the basement.
That's a good
And
one.
I want to go to the penthouse.
What I'm taking away is that every morning when I spray my cologne, I'll remind myself I'm spraying on confidence.
Yeah, confidence. I'm spraying on confidence. I'm spraying on courage. I'm spraying on authenticity. I'm focusing on my strength and not my weaknesses. And then we get some affirmations. I'm valuable. I'm beautiful. I'm unique. And you can even slay your hair if you have hair. And if you don't have hair, buy it, put it on. I'm slaying my yes. Yeah, it's our self-talk is important. Our self-talk is because we get all these automatic negative thoughts on a daily basis. And one of the things I tell people is replace those automatic negative thoughts or ands for pats. So positive affirmative thoughts. So I pat myself positive instead of the ands, positive affirmative thoughts.
And to remember what you focus on expands, So it's more you put positivity, that's what is gonna start coming out.
Yeah.
So you put in, that's what's coming out.
Yeah.
But it was I can't believe how fast this time ran. But I've learned so much, Dr. O, and I'm sure so many of our audience here, we want to encourage you to share some of your experience too, maybe of fear, how it's hindering you, and share some of your thoughts too that you can help others to get over, maybe things that how you've gotten over some of the fear that you've been through in life and get you to the next level that can also help someone else who might be there too. So Dr. Ayo, I'm sorry, Dr. O.
Yeah.
Olabisi. I told her I don't want to, butcher her name. So she says, call her Dr. O. I think others are called. So Dr. O, this program, as I said, it was just a lot of insight that I think is so needed right now for not only the older people, but also our younger generation that is in this stage of fear of all aspects that you mentioned, fear of failure, fear what other people think. And I always say what other people think of you is none of your business.
I love that.
And so again, is the things you say to yourself that is gonna help you get beyond, or you're gonna say things to yourself that will cripple you and keep you where you're at in life. But thank you so much for bringing up this topic. Thank you for sharing with us, your experiences too. And before we close out the program, is there anything else you would like to add before we finish?
Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me to be on this program. This has been really awesome. I learned a lot from your feedback as we had this conversation. And just to people out there, I'm just a grew up in Nigeria, came to the States. I had my struggles. My father died when I was 9 years old. And I struggled with fear all my life. But I'm here today. I'm confident, I'm courageous, I'm focused, and I know who I am in God. And so if I can do it, you can do it too. Just start. Just do it like Nike says. So my last word would be just do it. And like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. O. And yes, as I said, share any of your comments, questions, and Dr. O would gladly like to give you some pointers or even just mentor you through a little whatever it might be that you're going through. And do reach out. We're here to add value to you. So send your questions and do share it with anyone who might be struggling with some of these things we discuss here that they could benefit. And that's how you can add value also to others. So again, thank you, Dr. O. And for our viewers, see you in our next session. And it's always great having you in our program.